Well, hello, visionaries. This is Butch Hartman, and I'm so glad you're here on Vision Possible. Don't forget to follow our Protegé program over on XOTV. We'd love to have you be one of our bronze, silver, or gold members over there. And when you join that elite group, you will get access to our whole library of teaching, and you'll be able to join our live Zoom call that we have once a month with our entire Vision Possible team. It'll be so cool. We'd love to have you be part of that. So go over to XOTV, check that out. And there's many links you can click on here on this channel too. So glad to have you here. Okay, so I started off with sunglasses. I might put them back on. A bit of glare out here. I'm in a different location this time. I love it. My last couple videos have been in, my last video wasn't in a different location. It was just a different location in the location. But this location is very, very interesting and very unique. And I'm here for a very special reason. And I want to tell you where I am right now. But the title of this episode, this Vision Possible broadcast, is called Where Did It Start? Where did your vision start? And where did things begin for you? You know, where did things begin? Why did you start what you're starting? Where did it come from? Have you looked back on where and why you started things? And have you looked back on maybe the reason why? You know, why did you start what you're doing? And let me just explain where I am right now. I am right now in the state of Michigan, and this is where I started. I was born here in Michigan. I'm now currently in the backyard of the house where I grew up. I'll spin around here. No, it's not those houses, not that house. It is that house right there. This house back here, right back there. That's this from here to here. Look how small it is. I grew up in a dollhouse. No, that's the house I grew up. In fact, this right here, this is a garage. That's a garage that did not exist when I was a kid. That garage has been put in since I left. But yeah, I grew up, this is the beautiful state of Michigan, this beautiful area. I was so fortunate to grow up in, and I'm so excited to be back here sharing it with you. If you just, I'll just be quiet for a second. If you can hear all the bugs, there's about 100 billion bugs back here. And maybe if we're lucky, we'll get a deer that'll pop out of these woods right here. They probably won't because I'm standing here. But when I was a kid, you couldn't even, you could see right through this field. This field back here was completely non-grown. It was like a very small field. This whole neighborhood was new, basically. It was newly built. And none of these houses, well, these houses were here, but none of the yards were here. The grass wasn't here. It was mostly dirt. And when it rained or when it snowed, there was mud for days. So anyway, it's nice to see the greenery here. I don't get back here very often, maybe once a year, once every couple of years I come back home here to visit the family. In fact, I'm back here for my niece's graduation. We're here in the month of August because of COVID. They had her graduation in June, but the party isn't till August. They couldn't do a celebration ceremony until August, so that's why we're here. So we came out here, but I say all of this, and I wanted to show you how much this has grown. I mean, these trees were, like I said, here when I was like 1977, like 40 years ago. Those trees, but everything starts from somewhere. You know, those trees started as tiny little trees. Your vision started as a tiny little vision. It started as a tiny little idea in your head, and it's probably turned into something massive and huge, like this tree right here. You can't even control it. You know, it's just growing now, and it's off and it's running, and you've done great. You planted it, excuse me, you watered it, and it's just going fantastic. And that is what I wanted to talk about today, is where did you start? Where'd your vision start? And, you know, where did you begin? Why did you begin it? You know, sometimes what I love and here's why I ask this. I love coming back here because it reminds me of where I started. You know, I was just a kid in Michigan in this amazing little neighborhood with this beautiful scenery around me all the time. And I grew up around it and didn't appreciate it while I was here. And not that I was being mean or hating it. Oh my gosh, I hate it so much. It wasn't that. But it was the fact that, you're probably hearing wind blow by the microphone right now on the camera. It's kind of windy out here. But it's a nice wind. It's a nice warm wind. The best kind of wind. But, you know, I didn't appreciate where I was when I was there. I didn't appreciate the beginning. And by the way, when you're a kid, who appreciates anything? No offense to anybody out there who appreciates things. But when you're a kid, you kind of just grow up and go with where you're at. You know, you kind of deal with your situation and grow up. And it's not until you get past it and move on to the next situation that you realize what you had when you had it. Do I have any regrets about leaving Michigan and going to California? Absolutely not. I have zero regrets. But I do love coming back and just seeing, you know, this beautiful, beautiful area. It's just beautiful here. And I'll spin around a little bit more and you can see a little bit of it. But yeah, this was my beginning. This is where all my dreams, that house right back there, right there, that house right in there, right there is where I first conceived my first cartoon ideas. I conceived my first thought of going to California. I conceived my first, you know, dream of starting something of my own. And all started right here in this little house. And that's, by the way, that's where everybody's dreams start. They start in a house somewhere. Somewhere, some way, somebody's got a dwelling that they started in, you know. And where did you start? By the way, every idea starts in a place like this. You know, I call this a place of peace. You know, this is a place of peace. Your idea starts at a place of peace. Well, I shouldn't say that. Some ideas don't come out of peace. They come out of chaos and craziness. But they do start once your mind gets restful and peaceful. You're like, wow, I was able to start this. So I'm encouraging you to find a place of peace, to, you know, start maybe some more ideas. You know, even in the Bible, Jesus had to get alone. Jesus said, hey, I'm going to go pray and talk to my Father. I've got to get away from you guys right now, and I've got to go do this. So Jesus even got alone. You know, this is a great place for me to come and just sort of think back upon the cool stuff I was able to do as a young kid. I look back on the things, and the other thing too about coming back to where your vision started, you look back to what you've learned. I look back to all the things I've learned, you know, where I came from, where I started, what I was thinking back then and why I thought it. You know, obviously the ideas look a lot more juvenile to me now because I'm older, hopefully wiser. I'm not saying I'm the wisest person in the world, but I'm definitely wiser than I used to be. But, you know, I just am so grateful for those times I had in this house back here. You know, that house back there is where it all started. And, you know, I didn't plan on that. It's just, that's where it was. That's where it started. Where did your ideas start? You know, where do you go back to refresh or to reflect or to, you know, get your mind around what it is you're going to do? Now, do I come out to Michigan all the time to do that? No. I mean, it's just too much of a hassle to travel such a long way. I live in California, come to Michigan. You know, it's a nice trip, but it's a bit of an endeavor, you know. But I can go right into my studio at home. I can go outside in my own backyard in California. You know, I can do those quiet moments, you know, reflecting back on what it is I did to get going. And I look back on the ideas I had back here. I was like, oh, I remember the friends I made when I was here. I look back on how my life is laid out, you know, how I began here. I started out being just a nerdy kid who liked watching movies and TV shows. My brothers would be out here playing all the time, out here playing baseball, playing soccer, playing whatever. I never wanted to play sports at all. I always wanted to sit in that house right there. I wanted to sit in that house and draw cartoons all day. That's all I wanted to do. You know, and you look back on that going, man, maybe I should have been out here playing baseball more. Maybe I should have been out here, you know, playing soccer more. And I did. I played my share. Don't get me wrong. And they only called me reluctantly because I was never very good. I was never very good at sports. And so if they needed me, I was the last one they would call. And then it was only when they were very desperate. So, but I encourage you now to look back on where you started and look back on some of the ideas that you had. You know, I was going through some of the old photo albums and things that we have here at the house and things I would never see unless I came here. And I'm seeing all the friends I used to have, the drawings that I did. I'm like, oh, there's that drawing. There's that idea that I had. There's that concept that I had. Oh, that's actually a cool concept. I should maybe rethink that. Sometimes going back to the beginning helps you where you're at right now. It helps you to think of new ideas. You're like, okay, I started there. That's a cool thing I just, you know, thought of years and years ago. Maybe there's a way to rethink that now. You know, we're going to go meet a bunch of my family today, and haven't seen a lot of them in probably 2 years. Since COVID, we haven't been able to come out here very often, so we're here now. So to see some of my old family is going to be wonderful. I'm excited to see them, and you know, the old memories come back, the old jokes, the old in jokes. And it's just really cool to come back and reflect on that. Because listen, guys, your vision's important. Your vision's important, and your vision's amazing, but your life is important too. Your family's important too. And your family should be one of your biggest visions. You know, I know you've got a goal. I know you've got a dream that you're pursuing. But your family should most definitely be primary in that echelon, that ladder, those rungs of the ladder that you're trying to climb. You know, it shouldn't be vision then family. It should be family then vision. You know, because if your family's strong, the vision's going to come right after it. I know you're pursuing this thing, but don't ever put it ahead of your family. And if your family is just you and your cat, that's fine too. You know, I hope it's not just you and your cat, but if it is, that's fine. But if you have a family, you have kids, you have a wife, you have a husband, if you have a relationship with somebody that's important to you, you know, you really need to make sure that you're keeping that relationship strong, because at the end of the day, when you come home exhausted from pursuing your vision, it's those relationships with people that are going to matter the most. All these people in my life that started here. This is where I started. This is where I started in Michigan. I started here. You know, these people are still in my life. Some of them are gone now, as tragic as that is, you know, and it's sad. And I'm just really, really excited to, you know, to be able to share some of our adventures we've been on with them, and they get to share their adventures with me. You know, just because I left here and did a vision doesn't mean you have to leave where you are. You know, I left Michigan because I had to go to California to pursue an animation career. I just had to. You know, that's just, in those days, that's where the career was. There was no internet. I couldn't stay home and do animation and sell it and make a living. You know, you had to go where the studios were. You still mostly have to do that now. It's always good to have that that relationship with people face to face. But if you're still in the house you were born at, if you're still in the state you were born at, that's completely fine too. You don't need to leave where you are. But even if you haven't left, go back to where you started. I started in that room back there. You know, go back to, you know, where you began and just see how far you've come. That's another reason you should go back to where you started. You need to see how far you've come. It's important to know the many steps you've taken in order to, you know, just kind of get an attaboy, attagirl. I did a good job. I came from there and did this. I managed to do this much. Let's say you created Amazon. Way to go. Let's say you're able to put an article in the local paper. Great. Let's say you got a job at the library. Awesome. Good for you. Whatever it is that you've done, just look back on where you started and go like, you know what? I've grown. I achieved. I did that. You know, and make sure that you take those moments of victory because they're important. They're very, very highly important, because it's only through those small successes that we realize that, okay, I actually am doing something. I guarantee you right now, if you look at what you've done, you have not failed and you have not stayed stagnant. If you're watching this channel and this broadcast particularly, I'm sorry, it's so shaky. I'm holding this phone with my hand. And my shoulder, yes, is getting sore. But if you've, if you're watching this channel and this broadcast, you are an achiever. You know, here in Vision Possible, we want to help you believe, conceive, and achieve. We want to help you make your your daydream your day job. And that's what we want to do. And so making your daydream your day job is a humongous, massive, you know, accomplishment if you can do that. And that's what we're trying to help you do that. And so if you're watching this, I know that you're that type of an achiever, you know. And so I know you look back on where you've come from. I know that you look forward as to where you're going. Like right here is where I came from. But out there, beyond this, is where I'm going, you know. And I want you guys to come along too. I want you to come along on my journey so I can help you with your journey. Because the last thing I want is for you to start in a beautiful house like this and want to go, wait, there's the house. Last thing I want you to do is start there, but not know how to leave there and go somewhere else. Again, no shame in staying there. It's fine. But if you want to go somewhere else, if you want to go beyond the woods here, then you might need a guide. And hopefully I can help be that guide for you. Hopefully all of us here on Vision Possible can help you be that guide. You know, our job is to encourage you, strengthen you, prepare you, lift you up, and just give you foresight. You know, let's get some foresight going. You know, I've got to go talk to a bunch of my relatives today. I haven't seen them in 2 years. And I'm so excited to do that. I miss them. I haven't seen them for a long, long time. And yeah, you know, a lot of times we just, because I haven't seen them for 2 years, we go back to what we talked about 2 years ago. And sometimes, you know, there's politics and things you talk about. Sometimes you don't agree with people on things, and we avoid those topics. But hey, we do our best to be as agreeable as possible. But it's like my job now is to encourage other people. I had people encourage me when I was young. When I was here, living here in Michigan, I had people encourage me, and I want to help encourage you. And that's our job here on Vision Possible. I want to encourage you also, guys, don't forget to go to I took the glasses off. Don't forget to go to our Protegé program over on XOTV. That's XOTV on your finer internet connection. XOTV is like a YouTube platform. It's brand new, and they're just coming up, and I think it's really cool to be involved in new things like that. So go to XOTV, and you can go to the Vision Possible channel, and you can be a subscriber to the gold, silver, or bronze levels. You get access to all of our videos, and also access to our once-a-month Zoom call with our whole team. We'd love to see you on there. And when I get letters from you guys, and I get encouragement from you that you enjoyed Vision Possible, you enjoy what we say here, it just means the world, guys. So if you could write us as well, you can write me at askbutchhartman@gmail.com. You can write out just a quick letter saying, hey, I've watched Vision Possible, and here's what I think. Whether you like it or dislike it, I want to hear your feedback. So do me a favor and do that. askbutchhartman@gmail.com, and just write me a letter and let me know what you think of Vision Possible. We'd love to hear from you. I'm putting the glasses back on. A little glary out here for me, but let me know what you think of Vision Possible. We want to know your feedback. We want to know if we have helped you, if you've gotten a victory out of any of these teachings, if we've helped you in a direct way to maybe do something. We'd love to hear it. So again, go back to where you started. Maybe go back to where you started and look at the path you've been on. Like, look at your footsteps. Okay, I started here. I'm going back to the beginning just for a second. I'm going to look at where I've been. I've been here, I've been here, I've been here. Sometimes going back to the beginning is a much better way to see clearly. You can see more clearly the path ahead of you, or the path that you've taken. It's like, oh, I shouldn't have gone that way. I should have gone this way. It's like watching a movie. You know, watching a movie and then you rewind it back to the beginning, and then you know what path the character's going to take. You're like, no, don't go that way. don't go that way. I know the ending. No, that's not the door. Don't open that door. You know, tell yourself those things too. And guys, I want to let you guys know, your vision doesn't really have a ending like a movie does. Yay, it's over. No, your vision goes on and on and on in some fashion until you're no longer here, until you're no longer able to be on this earth. Your vision will continue going on, because your vision is not for you. We say that all the time here. Your vision is not for you. It's for those that are coming after you. It's for those that are going to be, you know, I'm just looking at my watch because we have to go meet some people in a bit. Your vision is for those who are coming after you, and for those who are going to benefit from it in the future. I was just at a grocery store here, a very well-known grocery store in the Michigan area, and had all these pictures of black and white photos of the people that were just starting the store back then. They were just beginning the store, like black and white photos in the 1930s or 40s of them putting the signs up and putting groceries on the shelves. Oh, so-and-so started this store, and you know, this store is like a, you know, a huge chain throughout the Midwest. And it's just cool to see where things began. That's why I wanted to really do this. I began here in Michigan. This is where I began. And I saw this store, the beginning of this store. I had a whole nother message I was going to talk about, but this one really seemed like the most appropriate today. So don't forget, where did you begin? Where are you going? Do you want to stay here? Or do you want to go beyond? And sometimes, guys, like I said, it's great to go back here. It's awesome. Go back, get your bearings, see where you were, look at the path you've taken. And then we're going to strike out over there. We're going to strike out, go through that. We're going to make it, okay? Thanks for watching, guys. We love you so much. Don't forget, we want to help you believe, conceive, achieve, and we want to help you make your daydream